Day 23 of December, yung tip natin for our Health Gain December, 2 days before Christmas, is about sleeping. Yes, yung tulog is sobrang importante. In fact, kahit gaano pa kaganda yung inyong diet, kahit pa nagpa-fasting kayo, kahit pa tamang-tama yung inyong pag-low carb, parati kayong nasa safe list. But kung hindi po tama yung inyong pagtulog, hindi pa rin yon enough to have that optimum health. That's why in our low carb and fasting masterclass, isa yon sa pinaka-foundation ng ating protocols on health optimization. Bakit 7.5 hours or 7 hours and half yung nilagay natin dyan? Plus, minus 1.5 because yung ating sleep cycle po kada gabi nahahati yan on average by 90 minutes. 90 minutes or 1 hour and half. That's why yung 7.5 na tulog is equal to 5 sleep cycles. And yun yung average. Kasi kapag natutulog ka at bigla itong napuputol, say for example, hindi ka, bigla kang ginising in the middle of your deep sleep, then pwedeng maging disrupted yung inyong pagtulog. That's why kapag bigla-bigla kayong ginising, yung hindi kayo, yung kusang gumising, umiinit yung ulo, medyo yung sawag natin, yung woke up at the wrong side of the bed. So, yun yung dapat. Kung pwede pa lang, we go naturally with our sleep and wake cycle. At maganda dyan is gigising tayo kung saan talaga tayo dapat gumising na oras. So hello, especially to our masterclass enrollees and mga coaches natin and mga kakita natin sa ating meet and greet. Hello, Coach Den. Hello, Fenny. And of course, we have Rochelle, ever present. At sa lahat na nanonood sa ating YouTube channels, thank you for always watching. So, ano yung mga tips natin para maging maganda yung ating tulog? So we have to prepare, of course, our schedule. Kung pwede pa lang, don't ever schedule a stimulating activity, yung nakaka-excite, yung nakakakaba, o yung nakakapagpawis. Try to avoid those exciting activities 2 to 3 hours before sleeping. So comes nighttime, so say for example, pagkatapos nyo mag-dinner ng 6 or 7 o'clock, try to do something relaxing. So since we are all adults here, for those who have intimate activities during bedtime, don't worry. Kahit pa exciting yan, that is still part of relaxation because after that intimate moment, magiging relax pa rin yung pangangatawan ng both male and female. So those are included on relaxing activities. Makakatulog pa rin kayo ng mahimbing. But when I say avoid other exciting activities, exercise, heavy exercises, even panonood ng mga movies na sobrang thrilling, yung nakakatakot talaga, yung mga sobrang nakaka-stimulate ng fear and excitement. So try to avoid all those. Another also is to have an environment na conducive for sleeping. I understand na hindi lahat merong ample space for adequate sleeping, but you can always design your bed space, kahit space lang yan, na every time nandyan kayo sa spot na yan, you have this mindset na kayo ay magre-relax na. Because if you are always working, if you are always bringing your activities na from work or school, tapos dinadala nyo pa sa inyong bedroom, then your bedroom will not be a signal for rest and relaxation or sleeping. So, mas mabuti na if you are in your bedroom or in your bed, if ever marami kayo sa inyong room, if you share a lot of spaces, meron ka lang sarili mong bed space, then you can make sure na every time you are in that spot, yung mindset nyo, pahinga na. If ever your room is not big enough to accommodate like a workstation, iba talaga, so it's okay. You can just have your face there. So usually ako, when I rearrange my room, meron akong isang spot na kapag nandyan ako sa spot na yan, parang nasa work mode ako. And then when I'm already in my bed, nasa relaxation na mindset ako. So usually, kapag meron akong work area, workstation, I design it na nakatalikod sa bed. So that kapag habang nagtatrabaho ka, hindi mo makikita yung kama. Hindi ka matetempt na matulog o di kaya aantukin. So it's always like either at the back, yung sa likod ko, yung kama, o di kaya nasa side, yung hindi ko siya makikita directly. So hindi kailangan na magkaroon ka talaga ng sarili mong office, ng sarili mong area para magkaroon ka ng that peaceful nook, yung parang meron kang corner for your rest and relaxation. What else? So your food intake is also very important for you to have adequate sleep. So generally, minimum na yung 3 hours, but actually for the sake of allowance and safety, gawin natin 4 hours yung minimum na last food intake before your intended sleeping time. So kung gusto nyo matulog ng 10 o'clock, try to finish your dinner by 6 o'clock. Sa mga natutulog naman ng 9 o'clock, okay, so actually medyo maaga yon. But if ever you do that, so expect lang na but maybe by 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. gising na kayo. And that's okay. Actually, maganda nga yan because you will be more productive sa inyong trabaho at sa inyong ginagawa. And also, what is important is for you to no longer wake up in the middle of the night para lang umihi. So, hindi nyo kailangang gumising para lang umihi. And how can you do that? You also put timing sa inyong water intake. So, usually, bulk of water intake nasa 2 hours before bedtime. At kapag nauuhaw pa, so sips na lang, kakaunti na lang. Every time you feel thirsty, actually, hindi kailangang sobra-sobrang isang baso talaga yung inumin mo. You can try to experiment. Nauuhaw ka, try to drink just sips and you will be surprised na actually enough na yon. So for those who are watching right now, 757 of you, I hope you can share this in your timeline kasi minsan nafi-filter talaga yung ating post kahit pa we have more than 500,000 followers, hindi lahat nakakakita at nanonotify. If ever hindi kayo nanonotify, try to make sure na yung page natin nandun sa inyong favorite, yung may star, o di kaya yung merong see first so that every time we go live, makikita nyo agad. You will be notified. And also, kahit pa hindi nyo yan mapanood right then and there, but at the end of the day, wala kayong mamimiss. Kasi alam nyo naman yung schedule natin medyo erratic. So, kung kailan lang tayo nag-go live. But rest assured that we will always go live whenever we can. So, as per additional tip on how to have a good night's sleep, kung hindi pa kayo sanay na matulog ng ganyan, meron pang adjustment period, try to make sure also na aside from water, aside from food, aside from activity, you also regulate your exposure to artificial light like this one. Yung mga ilaw natin sa bahay, meron ng daylight, di ba? And maganda actually ngayon kasi meron ng available na mga bulb na you can choose. Pwedeng daylight, pwedeng warm white, pwede ring yellow, yung parang panggabi, so that wala siyang blue light. Because if we are always exposing our eyes with blue light, pwede siyang mag-disrupt sa ating circadian rhythm. Iisipin ng ating katawan na daytime pa. And that's why kapag yung signal na nakarating sa ating utak ay parang daytime pa, so the natural melatonin secretion ay hindi rin magiging spontaneous. So, malilimit yung pagkakaroon nyo ng ating natural sleeping hormone, which is melatonin. So that's why since we want what is natural, kung pwede, we also avoid our exposure to light. So that's why dapat merong blue light protection. Kung nagtatrabaho sa gabi or you cannot help, hindi mo talaga mapigilan na mag-cellphone, mag-gadgets, manood ng TV. So I suggest you buy an anti-blue light protection na glasses. So this one actually may grado to. This was my former glasses. Ito yung merong sun reactor, transition. So this is transition lenses na kapag iinitan, nagiging black, and also meron siyang blue light protection so that kapag tumitingin ako sa screens or in artificial light like dito sa clinic, hindi papasok yung blue light. But blue light, it's okay. Like, okay lang siya during daytime. And radiation, even UV, as long as hindi naman ganun kagrabe yung exposure, actually, it's okay lang we are exposed to UV light, especially daytime. 20 minutes is already enough. Hindi rin kailangan ng sobra-sobra. So, just exposure to light during daytime and exposure to darkness during nighttime, yun actually yung pinaka-importanteng regulator ng ating sleep. So, I suggest na after your dinner, try to dim down yung inyong mga ilaw sa bahay. And also, since medyo madilim na, so make sure you don't need to do so many things anymore. Huwag nang damihan yung activities. Plan your day ahead para pagkagabi, pahinga na talaga. So, that's also a good way for you not to procrastinate. Ibig sabihin, during daytime, lahat na kailangan yung trabahuin nyo na. So that by the time na gabi na, tapos na kayong mag-dinner, you will just have to relax. Hindi nyo na kailangang mag-effort pa o magtrabaho pa ng mga last minute na mga kakailanganing trabahuin. And so you will be able to rest and relax. Because what will happen if ever kulang tayo ng tulog, lack of sleep will have effect on your body, on your health. Maraming mga taong kilala natin na very active, maraming mga very successful na personalities in the world, mga world-renowned, na mga triathlete, Ironman, merong mga top performers in Hollywood, top performers in whatever field, scientists, researchers, sobrang fit, ang babata pa, but suddenly they succumb to death. Bigla-biglang sudden death. And what do they have? They have chronic lack of sleep. Kulang yung kanilang tulog. Hindi ample yung kanilang sleep cycle. And when you have those lack of sleep, na-disrupt din pati yung satiety natin, yung ating degree of satisfaction in food and even in many other things. Try to notice yourself. Sa mga panahon na kulang kayo ng tulog, you have this insatiable craving. So, yung meron kayong appetite na halos hindi kayo ma-satisfy. Kahit busog na kayo, but you still have this parang kulang because walang makaka-compensate po sa lack of sleep. Yes, the immediate fix for this is sugar. That's why yung mga taong parating puyat, especially yung mga nagtatrabaho sa night shift, it's so hard for them to go on low carb, especially starting low carb. Kasi nga, yung craving nila for carbs and sugar is sobra-sobra talaga. Kaya hindi rin natin sila mabiblame. And kawawa nga because they want to do low carb, they want to eat right, but their cravings for it, it's beyond just mental. Kasi meron talagang physiological need that your brain is really starving. Para siyang gutom na gutom talaga. At yung number one lang na naiisip niyang kakailanganin niya is sugar. When in fact, yung totoo niyan, yung kailangan lang niya is pahinga. Ano ba yung nangyayari sa ating utak kapag nagpapahinga? Nandito tayo sa clinic, so meron ganyan. So this is our brain. And thank you to Dr. Labra for providing our ating mga paraphernalias here. So sobrang cute, di ba? So this is the anatomy of ear kasi nga ENT kami and we are head and neck surgeons. So kaya sa aming clinic merong head and neck. So ito yung mga muscles natin sa ating katawan, and this is our brain, and our brain maraming parts yan. This is yung major part ng ating brain natin, the lobes, these are the gyri, and this is the corpus callosum. Ito yung nagko-connect sa right brain to left brain. Nandyan din yung ating pituitary gland, nandyan din yung ating brainstem, and then nandyan yung ating cerebellum, yung in charge sa ating balance and all that. And all of these areas, kailangan ng rest and relaxation. And kailangan yan because that's the only way for our brain to function optimally kasi every day kailangan siyang mag-regenerate, kailangan niyang i-replenish yung mga neurotransmitters na nawawala, na nauubos during the day. And akala natin before, yung melatonin is just for sleeping. Akala natin yung pagkakaroon ng melatonin pampatulog lang. Actually, melatonin is a very, very good hormone. It's like the ultimate healing hormone na kailangan natin. Yes, nakakatulog ka, aantukin ka kapag merong melatonin, pero alam nyo ba na yung totoong purpose ng melatonin is really to initiate healing. It is linked with better immune system, it is linked with better way to fight cancer cells, to contain cancer cells, even to fight off infection if you have ample amount of melatonin in your system. That is why yung mga pregnant women and mga children, especially ngayon na sa pandemya, they are actually protected. Hindi sila ganon ka nagsisevere. Kung meron mga bata na nagkaroon ng severe manifestations with this viral infection, it is because those children are already malnourished to start with. Hindi malnourished na payat, but malnourished na sobra-sobra yung nutrition, overnutrition, the ones that are really very, very big and fat children. Again, I am not body shaming, but too much fats in children, no matter how cute they look, is really not healthy. You are subjecting them to a life of difficulty, just like what we are now, and even worse than what we are now. Kasi noon sa ating batch, sa mga panahon natin, di ba? Tayong mga kaedad natin, and especially older than us, hindi tayo ganun kang bombarded with simple sugars noon. But now, the children are so much bombarded with simple sugars. So actually, para siyang against human right for us to make our children be addicted to sugar. Kawawang-kawawa sila. The sole responsibility of parents is really to nourish their child and nourish them the right way. And sugar is not essential. Hindi kailangan sugar. Mas kailangan ng mga bata ang vitamins, minerals, proteins for growth. And kapag parati sila nating binibilhan ng mga candy, chocolates, cakes, especially Christmas ngayon, bibilhan nyo sila ng mga marshmallow, ng mga kung ano-anong mga treats, you are actually adding more to their later problems, not just on their health per se, but also to their mental mindset and then relationship with food. Because yung mga para sa inyo dyan na nagsasabi na, Doc, anong gagawin ko? Hindi po kumakain ng gulay, hindi po kumakain ng karne, yung anak ko hindi kumakain ng itlog, walang ganang kumain. I will ask you, kung wala silang ganang kumain ng mga totoong pagkain, pero kung bibigyan nyo ba sila ng biskwit, bibigyan nyo ba sila ng mga yogurt drinks, ng mga matatamis, fruit juices, candy bars, chocolates, kakain ba sila o hindi rin? O hindi rin. Di ba kakain sila? Because you are actually making them sugar addicts. You are adding problems to them. And you can see, after nilang kumain yan, they will become hyper, hindi masyadong makausap because they're always, they sometimes even, they shout, they don't listen, ang hirap nilang i-contain, hindi mo mautusan, kahit simple household task lang, because their brain is already subject to sugar toxicity. So, meron ng effect yung sugar sa kanila. They're always searching for it. I suggest you watch The Magic Pill. So, isa siyang documentary wherein children with autism, they provide them with low carb nutrition. So, real food, vegetables, and meat, real meat. And in 2 weeks' time, nung una, nagwawala talaga yung mga bata kasi wala ng granola bars, wala ng cereals, wala ng sandwiches, wala ng bread, wala ng biscuits, wala ng chocolates, wala ng mga processed foods, Pop-Tarts, kung ano-ano pa. But after 2 weeks, kapag gutom na ng isang bata and you just make sure na merong pagkain hinahain sa hapagkainan, meat, eggs, seafood, isda, chicken, vegetables, so makikita talaga nila na hindi mo sila ginugutom. So meron talagang pagkain dyan. It's just that they choose not to eat it. So it's not your fault. It's their decision. You make them own the decision. No matter how young, you can always start them to be empowered, to be really responsible sa kakainin nila. So it's not that kukunin mo yung kanilang usual pagkain and then wala kang ibibigay. No. The moment you remove the food, dapat kailangan meron siyang nakahaing mga pagkain, kahit na 3, 5 itlog, and then you can put 2, 3 fried chicken there, or beef patty, or kung ano mang meat na kakailangan nila, at lagyan ng vegetables din. So makikita nila, merong pagkain dyan. But if they choose not to eat, so it's their decision. And mind you, by nature, kapag ang isang individual ay gutom na, kakain niya ng kahit ano. And the moment they eat it, they will realize na it's not that bad. Kasi yung mga bata, alam naman natin meron yung rebound mindset. the moment na meron kang sasabihin sa kanila, the opposite thing is the one that they will do. So, we are already talking more about children, but yes, because children, they have kahit pa junk foods yung parati nilang kinakain, they can actually survive. At nakikita natin, they still survive into adulthood. You know why? Because they have ample amount of melatonin. Mataas yung kanilang melatonin level naturally. Kaya sila tulog ng tulog. And yung pagkatulog na yon, the moment we shut down our brain, yun yung purpose ng melatonin. I-shut down niya yung brain natin so that wala tayong ibang gagawin. Our body's energy will focus on healing and repair. So actually, yung pagkatulog is just the side effect of melatonin. But the real effect of melatonin is repair, rejuvenation, healing up to the cellular level. Our immune system, our hormonal balance in the body, our neurotransmitters, the way our cells interact and communicate with other cells in our body, yun yung i-repair ng melatonin. So good thing for those talaga na wala talagang melatonin production na because sa kanilang trabaho or their lifestyle. So at least meron ng melatonin ngayon over the counter lang. You can just buy. So meron, I think the one that you can buy over the counter, 3 milligrams. So that's just very low dose. That's generally safe for everyone. But of course, if meron kayong ibang mga iniinom na gamot na possibly nagko-contradict with that, so might as well do it the guided way. We have low carb doctors that you can consult with. And we also have the low carb and fasting masterclass if you wish to be guided. But if you wish to do it your own, marami namang available learning materials in Google. Just make sure you are reading the right one kasi mahirap mag-trial and error, especially if you are going to swim in the ocean because Google is like ocean. If you don't know what you're looking for, most likely what you will get is garbage. So you have to know what pieces to look for. And if you want to have a one-stop shop, kumbaga, when it comes to learning low carb and fasting the right way para wala nang trial and error. Kasi noon, ganun din ako. Marami akong sometimes, ayokong magbayad ng premium kasi ang mahal, parang isang bayad lang kuha lahat. And I buy a little of this, a little of this, and a little of that. And eventually, I realized yung nagastos ko pala trying to save because I avoided that one-stop premium na product is sobra-sobra pa. And what's worse is that I didn't have peace of mind. Wala akong peace of mind sa mga maliliit na products na yon, na the ones I do. And it's very, very taxing sa aking utak because I have to think of so many other things. But when I subscribe to that premium product, one-time payment, yes, it may be a little more expensive, but it gave me peace of mind, and it gave me enough na peace for me to do other tasks. So actually, I became more productive the moment na isa na lang yung iisipin ko. So hindi matatawaran yung peace of mind, and that is what we would like to share with everyone. That's why we made the low carb and fasting masterclass para isa na lang yung inyong learning platform if you wish to do that. But for those naman na ayaw, then it's okay, no problem. Basic questions are usually answered in our groups. That is, you are free to join and invite your family and friends also. Life Without Rice for meal inspirations ng walang rice, walang carbohydrates, walang simple sugars, and also low carb feasting and fasting community. So yan lang muna for now. I hope you get to have ample sleep tonight. 7.5 hours is the average. 1.5 plus minus hours, no? So you can be as short as 6 hours to up to 9 hours. And mind you, minsan, if your rest is already melatonin rich, minsan you can go as low as 4.5 hours, 5 hours lang, and you already feel well rested. And during the day, if you feel like you need to take a nap, that's okay. Pero if parati kayong nagnanap in the afternoon at hindi na kayo makatulog ng maaga during nighttime, so I suggest you can try to remove daytime napping first and have a continuous sleep during nighttime para mas maganda yung effect ng inyong sleep, and you will have deep sleep, which is kailangan talaga when it comes to healing, repair, and rejuvenation ng ating pangangatawan. So, earlier yung tip natin ha, para makapaghanda kayo, you can sleep well tonight. And of course, alam natin, medianoche and noche buena, as Filipinos, we stay up. So, it's not like hindi na natin pwedeng gawin yon. As per usual, just like in our food, exemption rather than the rule. Ibig sabihin, if you choose to not sleep that much amount of time, less than 6 hours lang for example, try to have it lesser as compared to the times that you have 7.5 hours. Like as for me, for example, at least 5 times a week, nakaka 7.5 hours ako. And I have this allowance na kung busy talaga, I can only have 6 hours o di kaya less than 6 hours of nighttime continuous sleep. And I will just bow it the next day. So, exception rather than the rule, and you cannot you cannot outweigh a good sleep with any kind of other things. Yes, low carb can help, fasting can help, but sleep is a totally different entity and an essential need na kailangan natin. If we wish to have a health gain, not just this December, but in our life as we move on sa ating buhay. So, maraming salamat po. We have a lot of tips when it comes to sleeping, and there are supplements that can help you with sleeping. If you wish to know more, nandiyan yan sa ating LCF Masterclass for wellness, and even in just our 14 days health optimization masterclass. Maraming salamat po everybody. Good afternoon na ba? Yeah, good afternoon na pala. This is going to be my last duty in our clinic before Christmas. I'll see you again on our next video. Remember to always stay low carb, even if it's holiday, even if it's Christmas, if you can, so that we all stay safe. Goodbye. Salamat